Hello and welcome to the Trading Post podcast, where we unlock the secrets of business-to-business trade, dive into powerful networking strategies, and share my exciting journey of using a podcast to market my business instead of relying on SEO. I'm your host, Trader Stu. Hello and welcome back to Trade Tuesday with the Trading Post. I am, of course, your host, Trader Stu. This episode is brought to you by the Michigan Renaissance Festival. You guys should check them out here. It's coming up soon. What happened in May? It's coming up faster than you think it is. So get your calendars out and check out when you can go to the Michigan Renaissance Festival. What weekend works great for you, because we are already in June. And I'm recording this actually on May 29th. I just happened to find out that it came to me. I was like, why? I don't know how much time I have left for my Buzzsprout subscription. I have over an hour left. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to waste, another hour. And I should get used to that because I end up wasting a lot of time. But I wanted to get this on out there and recorded and schedule it for this stuff, what you're listening to now on Tuesday, because May flew by. So back to the Renaissance Festival. Go ahead and get out there. It's coming up soon. Hopefully I'll be giving away tickets soon. Be getting my tickets in the mail here soon. And go from there. Check out networking with kids if you're in the area. It's something I'm doing with folks who've got children and they can't hit up after-hour networking events. Come on out first Thursday of the month at Jungle Java off of Hall Road in Clinton Township. Love to see you there. And and of course, get prepped. If you haven't checked out Sarita's latest game that she's developing, it's a game based upon getting cataclysm, end of the world scenarios. It's kind of cool. I can't wait to see it. And I'll be in the video game. I'll be the trader. She's writing me into the game. So check that out as well. And anything else? I think that's it. Of course, Metro Trading Association. It's who I work for full time. And if you have any questions about trade or barter, give me a holler, phone call, email, whatever it may be. And you can call the office here and I'll talk to you about, you don't got to be in my area either. I don't really care. If you're, in Texas and you want to know more about it and have a unbiased view of someone trying to, I guess, pitch you to get into their association, and you want it, squared out, call me up and I'll tell you all about trade and barter, how it works. And I don't have many recommendations nationally, but I'll ask the brokers and see if they work with anybody, in your area and which trade association that you should join if you're out there. All right. Anyway, getting back to using a podcast. I want to talk more about using a podcast to grow your business or to advertise yourself, because I really do think that this is the new way of the future. And with AI kind of taking over the game, I don't know about you, but YouTube has just become this, I don't know. It seems like everything is AI generated. Of course, all the little clips that they show, and then sometimes even the talking is all AI. And my last episode, I did mention it. I don't hate AI. I just, there's a place for it. And I think that the personal aspect of it is, I guess there is no real personal aspect, and that's why everyone has a big issue with it, right? There's no, an intimate, long form way of AI to converse with somebody. So when you have a podcast, you are making yourself, put yourself out there. It's a bit different. It makes a cold call a warm call. You're building, of course, your trust and authority in your niche because you're the resident expert. If you're bold enough, I guess, to do a podcast on your subject matter, then you obviously have enough to talk about anyways for what you're into, right? So there's that. You also get your brand visibility and authority out there too. Hosting a podcast or guesting even. I need to do more of that. I only did one guest on a podcast, or I was a guest on a podcast one time, and that was for the Good Neighbor podcast, and which is what really kind of sprung me into getting into my own. I'm like, man, instead of going around and looking for being a guest on podcasts, I'll just try being my own host on a podcast and then see how that goes. And here we are. We're already over, I think, 20 episodes. And even then, I kind of slacked, to be honest, over the winter. And I should have like probably, I don't know, probably six more at this point in time if I was to stay steady with once a week. But, life happens and business happens and, whatever. It doesn't matter. So all I'm saying is that when you're doing a podcast, don't try and do a daily upload. It's not going to happen unless you have a whole team, right? I don't think even like Joe Rogan does every day. I think he does 3 or 4 a week, which is still a lot because his podcasts are like 2 or 3 hours long, man. And then even when I worked at the David Letterman show, he did, he had 5 shows a week, Monday to Friday, but on Thursday, it was 2 shows, like 2 takes on a Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were his regular hour shows, and then Thursday was a back-to-back double take, and because they had pre-recorded for Friday. So he worked, 4 days a week, which is ideal. I'd love to get to 4 days a week. That'd be sweet, like 4 tens. And one day, maybe that might happen. It'll definitely help out when we want to go camping with the kids. We can leave on a Thursday night instead of a Saturday morning or Friday night. I mean, that gives you a long weekend, man. Friday, Saturday, Sunday camping. That'd be sweet. Anyway, I digress. Of course, podcasting makes your business more discoverable and credible because you put your name out there. Now, I mean, metro trading is not my business, but it does make me kind of like the person on social media where people were asking me questions about the trade exchanges in their area, right? Like, do you think I should join this one? Or what do you think about this one? Or, someone called me and they told me this, is that right? So even though I'm not getting any business from that, I'm still getting, I guess I'm just credible for that, and I think that's all right. I think that's cool. I mean, one day it'll all come back to me and I'll accept that. So, you also get, high value relationships when you're out networking. You get the partnerships, you're podcasting, you get the higher value relationships with guests, and you get your listeners. Maybe they contact you as someone you wouldn't have any other way of contacting except for through the podcast. And, you get the cool thing is other industry players. So other media hosts, not just podcasting, but radio maybe, or people who own, print, magazines, maybe TV shows, whatever. So that all come back one day. And that then, of course, leverages you again, and then you can reciprocate and do the same for somebody else one day too. It's pretty neat. So you get, the collaboration on something like that is priceless, that you can't buy. You can't pay for that. The referrals you would get from that, like, hey, you trying to maybe just cold call somebody. If you're like, something that comes to mind right now, I know a professional baseball player, right? He was in MLBs, and I forgot even where he was. I think it was Arizona. I don't even know, because I don't follow baseball. I don't really care. I never even asked for his autograph, but I think it's kind of cool that here I am in the business world. He's doing baseball bats now, and even though I have no way of trying to get him on the show, I don't think, or nothing like that, but this is kind of cool that, every month, whatever, I just kind of chill with this dude who was an MLB player, and my brother would think that'd be cool because he was in baseball and he played baseball, but I really don't know who he is. So anyway, the lead generation you get off a podcast is pretty invaluable too. Listeners that are out there and that resonate with your message are, of course, more likely to reach out to you as a warm lead, like I said earlier, and you skip that traditional sales funnel, the cold call, then you try and get a referral from somebody who's already in, and then you know the whole deal of the sales funnel. And I always worked for ADT, and they had a really cool sales funnel that somebody made in an Excel program. And I used to love playing with it. It would tell you, like, okay, how much do you want to make? How much do you get per sale? On average or whatever. And then I think it told you how many calls that you need to make because you close this many calls per 40. Let's just say I used 40. And out of 40, I'd set, I don't know, 3 appointments or something like that. And then out of 3 appointments, I'd get 1 sale. And out of that 1 sale, I'd get $300 or whatever, right? So if I wanted to make $2,000 a week, I needed to make, 40 times 5, 200 or something like that calls a week or something like that. It was 40 times 5. So anyway, it was something like that. And sales funnels are fun, but they're also exhausting. So if you can stay away from the sales funnel, you're going to want to go ahead and do that. You want people to call you. You don't want to call them, put it that way, right? Let's see what else we can do with the podcasting. I'm just thinking of like strategic like business tools in the way of that. Let's see here. This episode of the Trading Post Podcast is brought to you by the Michigan Renaissance Festival, happening weekends of August 16th through September 28th in Holly, Michigan. Step into the 16th century village of Holly Grove, where you'll find 17 stages packed with musicians, magicians, jugglers, and full contact armor jousting. Explore over 100 artisan booths for unique handcrafted treasures, and enjoy a wide variety of food from classic turkey legs to pub fare and international dishes. Each week features a different theme like Pirates and Pups, Highland Fling, and Viking Invasion, so there's always something new to experience. Don't miss the new House of Dragons pub, high-flying rides, and the enchanting Mermaid Barbie this year. For tickets and all the details, just tap the Michigan Renaissance Festival link in my Linktree at linktree.com/TraderStew. Join the revelry thanks to the Michigan Renaissance Festival for supporting the Trading Post Podcast. I know. How about aligning your podcast with business goals? So define your clear objectives. Are you looking to generate leads? Do you want to build authority? Or do you want to foster community? And now you can do all of those, but your strategy should support that goal. So if you're generating leads, maybe you should talk about one way of, when you're chit-chatting on your podcast about how to get more leads or bring people in. Are you trying to build authority? And that would be like maybe you have a lot of reference material and a lot of things you can come back with. Or if you're fostering community, and I know like some of the gardening channels or whatever like that, they'll, gardening has community built into it almost, because people will grow excess fruits and veggies or whatever on accident, and then they'll just exchange things, tomato for cucumbers or whatever like that, right? So that's kind of cool too. So for an example, the Trading Post Podcast was launched to fill a niche in the B2B trade and barter. So I aligned my expertise of what I've known about that with the business mission. So, I've been in the game since 2013. I worked here for 2 years at Metro Trade, and then I got recruited by a headhunter online from Michigan Works, and then I went and worked for that company for 8.5 years, and then I got laid off from there. And I basically, the Metro Trade was already asking me to come back because I was at one of their trade shows. I put my own company in the business, right? So then they're like, "Oh, you want to work, nights and weekends?" And then I was kind of like politely declined. And then once I got laid off, I'm like, I just texted them. I was like, "Hey, can I come back? I'd like to do this again." And they're like, "Yeah, come on back." So you just walk back in the door. So you just never burn a bridge. You just never know what's going to happen a decade later, literally almost a decade later. I would have never thought I would have come back. As a matter of fact, I think it was that year or that winter, I used to have a Metro Trading Association like a jacket, and I kept it for a shop coat, at my the job I took, because I would be in the garage, and that was like my, didn't care if I got dirty because I'll never go back there again kind of a coat. I think that year or that same summer, I'm like, I need to get a job again. So I could have used the jacket now, but who knows, hindsight 2020, right? No big deal. What else we talk about here? Oh yeah, you should probably know your target audience, of course. So you tailor your topics and your guests to the needs of your, the ideal client or the partner that you want to attain, right? So right now I'm just kind of chit-chatting about how to use a podcast, and I guess I'm targeting somebody, you know what, I'm targeting somebody who wants to use, they're in sales or marketing, or they have a business and they have enough to talk about with that they could do a weekly podcast about their gig. So like the other day, I had somebody actually call me up and say, hey man, I'm going to buy you lunch and I want you to teach me how to do a podcast and what I have to do, what I have to know, and how to sign up for it and all this other stuff. Right. I'm like, all right. So we went out to lunch, had Panera Bread, and told him, my fails, what I've learned over the years and things like that. And there you go. I was, for the price of a lunch, he got, I saved him a year or two of falling on his butt, and messing up maybe. But I still believe you got to go through the trials and tribulations yourself. There's no one's that's going to save you. My dad always used to get so frustrated with me. He was like, man, I tried telling you, but you got to learn on your own. I was like, yeah, I got to learn on my own. You can tell me, but I'm stubborn and I'm going to try it anyways. And then I'm going to tell you, you know what? You're right. I guess I should have not done that and listened to you, but here we are. So anyway, what else can we talk about here? I guess, yeah, you know what? Hosting builds your own platform and community. And then you can, the guesting also, if you guest on a podcast, you leverage your other audiences for exposure and your credibility. So if you're trying to build your niche, you got your case studies and your show brands, didn't know this, but Four Sigmatic and Backblaze grew rapidly through guest appearances. I was just kind of reading something here as I'm chit-chatting, I'm kind of researching. But, and then you integrate your podcasting into your marketing mix. So repurpose, I just had someone cold call me the other day, actually yesterday, repurposing your episodes into blog posts, social media clips, and email content to maximize your reach. So what this guy's angle was like, hey man, I listened to your podcast and I think that we can get you more exposure by generating reels. Kind of like, have you ever seen what's his name? Joe Rogan podcast will do that, and they'll repurpose the clips and put them out there on Shorts or YouTube. And it's like a snippet of a 3-hour episode. Now, for me, that doesn't work because for me, I got what I needed out of that clip. And it doesn't bait me into wanting to listen to the entire podcast. So I guess, I don't know if I'm an exception or the norm, and they just try and play like I'm the exception and not the norm, but I'm not going to pay somebody to try and turn my clips into social media shorts to try and get people to want to click on my podcast to listen. I think that if they're going to want to listen to this podcast, you're going to search for a term that I talked about in like one of the subject matter of one of the episodes, or you're just searching for the content in general and you're looking for B2B marketing and sales, trade, barter, how to use trade or how to use a podcast to to market your business. I think that's what you need to work on. I guess, I don't know if that's the tags that help or the search terms. And actually this morning, it's funny I say this, they were looking for my podcast and there was another company that cold called me or cold emailed me. And, it's more like SEO. They're more SEO. So, hey, this tag that you used was number 22 in the searches of podcasts. This term that you used for this tag was number 176 in like the rankings, whatever. And this one was, 150 and this one was number 10 and whatever. I'm like, wow, number 10, that's not bad. I'll take that out of all the thousands of podcasts that are out there. Like number 10 for that keyword. I'm doing pretty good, I figure, right? So again, I'm not really going to pay somebody to do SEO for me. I figure that the AI will do that. I pay for, and my just constantly uploading episodes will just get me out there. I'm not going to pay for that right now, but I will pay one day, hopefully soon, for, you get, 10,000 touches for $200. I'll pay for that advertisement. I will do that. And then I'll try and also guest appearance in other podcasts in hopes that they'll link me, their audience to me. But again, I don't know how much that works either. But again, that's free. It doesn't really matter. Who cares, right? And that goes along the cross promoting with guests and encourage your listeners for referrals or organic matter, because that organic growth is the best. And a long time ago, when I thought about doing a podcast, or actually back then it was YouTube, I really wanted to work with local artists to help promote them by using their, like the roll, the B-roll, whatever, or the intro roll, or the background music, or the commercial. And right away I did that, and that was with Duracell. I met him at for Founders First Fridays at Velocity Center. He's the one that does that whistling in the West. So, I'm already, so hopefully you click on that, and maybe you can use him as well for your music, or maybe you book him, or he also does, he builds web pages, so cross promoting, man. And, so one of the things I do struggle with is, and I already mentioned this, is consistency with uploading. So when you want to start a podcast, you want to publish on a regular schedule and maintain your high production standards. So that builds trust and loyalty, as they say. Now, I try and upload every Tuesday. I just thought Trade Tuesday was a good day. I was doing Mondays, and it wasn't working. Monday's crazy. So if anything, I try and record on a Monday to have it uploaded on a Tuesday. But like this week happened, Memorial Weekend, I took the day off. I did not record on Monday. And so I uploaded my podcast still on Tuesday, but it was that earlier or later that morning or afternoon. And they say, you're supposed to upload by 6 a.m. at the latest. So the algorithm gets out there and people can listen to it on the way to work and things of that nature on a Tuesday, and stay consistent with that schedule. Now, I'm not good with that yet. Getting there. Come a long way. I'm not exactly one for routine. So I'm spontaneous. And so this is one struggle that I've been trying to get a hold of. And if you are in that boat, don't get discouraged and say, oh, well, I can't stay consistent, so it's not worth me even trying. No, do it anyways. Get your podcasts out there. Start doing it. And, I got low numbers yet, the uploads. So I think once I get to 100 uploads, it'll be a heck of a lot different than when I am right now. At 20, I'm still rookie, man. I'm new as far as the podcast world goes. I mean, actually, I think they say half of all podcasts fail by the third episode. So, even though you see the numbers, there's 90,000 podcasts out there. Yeah, but you got to look and see what their last upload was. Was it in 2023? That was their last upload. That still counts as the podcast, but that's not an active podcast. And guess what? They're not getting listeners, because guess what? They're not uploading anyways. So only, focus on the podcasts that are actually uploading weekly or even bi-weekly as, I guess, a competitor. But honestly, I don't think that's a competitor, because if they're uploading, then maybe you can cross promote with them, and maybe your niche is in your local area. Mine is basically in the Great Lakes region, is who I'm broadcasting to, if you will, or looking for leads for. So if I am getting out there in other areas, it doesn't matter, because I'm not really competing with any of those other trade exchanges if I'm trying to use this for my lead generation. So let's see what else we can talk about here. Oh, there's a cool chart I just came across. So I didn't know. So I got to look these guys up. Four Sigmatic, boosted brand awareness and sales via niche podcast ads. All right. I'm looking this up right now as we talk. I don't know who these guys are, but this article that I'm referencing keeps mentioning these guys, and I want to know who they are. So, all right, Four Sigmatic. Who's this guy? Or girl? Four Sigmatic exclusive offers. All right, Four Sigmatic. Oh, is it coffee? Oh, no way. Boosted brand awareness and sales via niche podcast ads. Okay, cool. And they give me 15% off. I don't want to do that right now. I just want to know who you guys are and what you do. So you got, proteins, coffees, supplements. Oh, you got teas, instant teas, starter kits, neat, superfoods. Okay. I did not know they're in LA. Functional mushrooms and adaptogens. That's what they're known for. Huh. Okay. What else we got here? What's the other one? Backblaze. Backblaze. Boom. What's Blackblaze? All right. So low cost, high performance, S3 compatible objective storage. Oh, they're cloud storage. Okay, I didn't know that. Yep, specialized cloud storage that makes for the B2 cloud, a business to cloud. Okay, so they did theirs by guesting and they expanded their reach and credibility, which of course led to more sales. What else we got here? The unofficial Shopify podcast. They generated $108,000 a year and 750,000 downloads. Nice. Fame, B2B SaaS podcast service grew to $204,000 a year by helping others launch podcasts. Huh. So I got to check this out. Fame. I wonder how they helped that. So that's, and then, wow, I'm even in here too. In this, I did a quick search, AI search, Trading Post podcast, created a unique B2B trade and barter community, driving new leads and partnerships. Cool. A couple references there for me too. All right. I like that. So here's a couple actionable tips for using a podcast to grow your business that I've done some research on here. So lead with value. Focus on solving real problems with your audience, for your audience, and not just promoting your business. That's one thing people will turn off to immediately. Like I always say in mine, I promote MetroTrade, but I'm not like, oh, you can only sign up for MetroTrade. No, I don't care if you're in, Timbuktu, man. If you need help with finding a trade exchange that you want to be part of, I can try and help you find that or give you a referral. I'll call somebody out there and say, hey, this one person is looking to sign up. I did that already on even Alignable. If you're on Alignable, hook up with me. And I do a lot of referrals on that. So then you can, of course, feature strategic guests. Yeah, so my goal, I guess, overall is one day to start a mobile podcast and get like a RV and do guesting. And that's what, when I started this, was the idea was I was going to drive around and go to other trade exchange members within the group and talk about how trade has helped them grow their business. And have you ever tried scheduling anything ever with a business owner? If you're in B2B sales, you have. And trying to, I guess, drive around and put, somebody into interview with me being there, and then I'm kind of like showing up even though it's in their parking lot. I'm not ready for that yet. And I'm not going to make the investment in an RV yet, that's for sure. Clear calls to action. Give your listeners simple next steps. Visit your site, book a call, or download a resource. And I love AI. So leverage AI and tools, use AI to personalize follow-ups, research guests, and streamline content creation. And highlighted by the Trading Post podcast use of Perplexity AI for smarter networking, not marketing. So yeah, I'm using AI to personalize my follow-ups. Track results, measure not just with downloads, but business outcomes, new leads, partnerships, website traffic, and sales conversions. That's one thing that people get hung up on all the time on LinkedIn and Alignable, is they're like, well, I haven't made any money with this yet. I'm like, yeah, but have you gotten more reach? Like, do they know about you? So, that's part of it too, right? It's not all about the hard dollar. Engage a community. Respond to your listener feedback, shout out to superfans, and create interactive elements like quizzes, referral challenges, and deepen engagement. I'm not doing that. I'm not really good with that part of the thing, so I'm not doing that part anyway. So even though I said it, I don't support it. I don't know if I don't support it. I'm just not doing it. One of the things that will kill you too is trying to appeal to everyone. Just focus on your niche. You have a unique voice and rock with it, man. Don't try and don't just try and say I help people with sales for everything, or help anyone that's in sales. Anyone gets to anything, which anything gets to nothing. So that's a BNI thing. Sustain your momentum. It's a long term. Yeah, podcasting is a long burn. I call it long burn. It says long term. You're going to be a year or two out before you probably see anything at all. So try and stay consistent. Try and stay fired up, and keep your ongoing improvements are key. And I do that. I try and edit it minimally. That's one thing I'm doing, is not doing all of the constant editing. Editing will kill you too, man. That'll make you not want to do it no more. And you want to hire an editor. I would say you're probably better off putting that money that you'd hire an editor for $40 an hour, $50 an hour, whatever it is, into advertising, and screw the editing. People want to hear you anyway. So don't try and get rid of too many of the ums and the ahs and the whatever, right? So don't hyper focus on that. Just hit record, run through it maybe once. I don't even do that sometimes. I just hit upload and rock it. Adapt to trends. Stay flexible. Experiment with new formats and technologies and promotional tactics as the podcasting landscape evolves. Well, already the White House is focusing on podcasters to come in instead of the fake news, as they call it, because the podcast is a real true voice in most cases and not AI'd. My final thoughts. Let's see. Let me read this real quick. Podcasting isn't just about content. It's about business assets that can drive authority, true relationships, and revenue when aligned with your business goals. So whether you're hosting or guesting, approaching a podcast with intention, measure your impact, and keep refining your approach for sustained business growth. That was AI, the heck out of that. But basically, final thought, keep uploading, keep podcasting. If you think that it's going to help, keep doing it. Keep helping out, keep helping others, and eventually it'll come back to you, right? The giver's gain, as they call it. What's this? A simple call to action. I just kind of did this AI real quick. If you're ready to see how podcasting can help you grow your business, start by defining your audience, your business goals, and then either launch your own show or reach out to be a guest and podcast in your niche. And don't forget, consistency and authority are your best marketing tools. True. And here's the other problem with that. I got exhausted with trying to be a guest. I did all the emails. I did the comments. For some reason, people don't want guests. They say, oh, be a guest. I think to be a guest, you got to be invited to be a guest. I don't know, because I reached out to all the business whatever podcasts out there, and I never got any reply. I got no replies, but I think I did. How I became a podcast guest on Good Neighbor Podcast was, I asked the question in one of my Chamber of Commerce groups I'm in, and they said, oh yeah, Lisa Swiftney runs the Good Neighbor Podcast, and you can be a guest on her show. So they gave me her contact information. I say, I want to be a guest. And she said, fine, you're booked 2 weeks out for now, and then your podcast will be uploaded in 2 months from when you do it, whatever. Perfect. So that was the only success I got. And that was only because I showed up to an event. I asked a question. People are afraid to ask too. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. People want to help. And then, that's how I got rolling on that. So, all right, that's it for now. Until next week, be good or be good at it.
The thoughts and views expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and do not reflect the official policy or position of Metro Trading Association. Although the host is an employee of Metro Trading Association, this podcast is intended to educate entrepreneurs on the benefits of professional trading regardless of their location. Additionally, the host reviews various pieces of camping gear due to the Association of Trade, Barter, and Prepping.